Alright, so here we are at low speeds. You can see the steering wheel moving back and forth. That leads me to believe that there's an issue with tie rod ends. I've already kind of done a preliminary check where jack up the car and push the wheel back and forth from side to side, and there's a little bit of play there. I'll show you that right here. Alright, so hopefully you'll be able to see from here. I've got the jack here, got the wheel up off the ground, the tire, and there's a little bit of play here. It doesn't seem like much, but I think this is definitely in our tie rod end. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe it's the inner tie rod. So I will be changing that. But anyway, I'm just going to bring you in as I get down to it, what I'm looking for. Alright, so real quick, what I'm going to do is show you what's in the box. We got the inner tie rod itself with the stop nut. There's a washer. I'm going to assume that goes on this end, but we're going to go ahead and change this out. I couldn't find any real noticeable play once the wheel was off, but I've already bought both inner tie rods, so I'm going to go ahead and change both of them, and maybe we'll find on the other side that that's where it was, but it doesn't make sense that the play would be over here. And I didn't see anything obvious in the outer tie rod. So right here, the only thing I did see is I was able to move it like that. It was moving the whole shaft. So I'm not sure if that's, I'm not sure if that indicates that there's something bad on the outer tie rod, but I do plan to order those and change them anyway and just have it all new. So I'm going to loosen the stop nut first so that we're not dealing with it once this is loose from the spindle or the knuckle. Alright, so now the stop nut is loose, I'm going to go ahead and take this off. And here we should be able to tap on the spindle, and then the ball joint should release from the spindle. There we go. Alright, so now what we're going to do is count the number of turns to take the outer tie rod off of the inner tie rod. And like that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So we have 14 turns to take that off. Alright, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to spray the end of this with some liquid wrench. It looks corroded. And do you remember how many turns that was? Was it 14? 14 turns to take that off. I hope you were counting along with me. So anyway, the first thing we need to do is get this nut off here so that we can pull this boot completely off. With the crescent wrench, I'm going to put the impact on it. to get the inner ring, right there, that's a metal metal retaining clip, and the only thing I know to do is put a screwdriver back here. I think that should be loose enough to pull it loose. Yeah, it is. Okay. So now we just gotta get this up over a little lip right here. Alright, well that was easy. So I'm really not seeing anything wrong with the inner tie rod. I would think that we would have some play up in there, but it all seems fine here, and I'm not seeing anything on the rest of the suspension, like the ball joint. On the lower control arm there is no upper control arm, it's the strut, so maybe hopefully it's on the other side, but anyway, we're going to change it. So here's the kit. This is designed to be used with a 1/2 inch ratchet that attaches here. There's 8 different sizes that go in here and attach to the innermost part of the inner tie rod, and that's how you loosen it and tighten it. So I'm going to show you how that works. So here I've got the new inner tie rod, and I'm just going to grab these adapters and see if I can find the one that fits the best. Okay, so I found one here, and there's no size indicate. Yeah, there is 1.25 inches, and that fits really well on here. So what we do with this now is it goes in to this, put it in there like that, and then you twist it to lock it into place, and this is, then you reverse it to take out the old one, and then go forward on to tighten the new one. So now we're going to jump down there, get the old one out, and put the new one in. And what you have to do is you have to take this insert piece and put it on first. And maybe the OEM is a different size. Actually, so what I thought was a washer is actually what I would call a retainer. Once the old one is in, there are flaps that get pushed down, squeezed down, either squeezed down or hammered down. I'll try to bring in so you can see that. So right there's the flat spot that we would normally be able to slide this thing right onto. But because it's bent down over the flat spot, my thought is that we just pry that out. Alright, so I was able to get a screwdriver and a hammer in to kind of push this one out. You can see there. However, this one right there is going to be a little more difficult because I keep hitting the screwdriver right there. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to try to do. I've got the short 1/4" extension, and I can get onto the metal like a little bit, and I'm going to see if I can get the adapter on there now. We're really close. Yep, fits perfect. Alright, so now that that's on, I'm going to slide this tube over the inner tie rod, line up those holes, turn the collar, and I'm going to use the breaker bar instead of the impact. I just think it might be the best thing to do. So here we go. There we go. So now it just turns right out. And then to get it out, you take the collar, loosen it, you have your adapter here, and you have your old inner tie rod right here. So you can see what they did if you look in there at the shaft, you can see the notches on it, and they went like this. Actually, they didn't. They went this way. Okay. I see what it was. When you tighten this in, the idea is that it's going to push these tabs into those. Or they had this in wrong. I'm not sure. So here's the kit. This is designed to be used with a 1/2 inch ratchet that attaches here. There's 8 different sizes that go in here and attach to the innermost part of the inner tie rod, and that's how you loosen it and tighten it. So I'm going to show you how that works. So here I've got the new inner tie rod, and I'm just going to grab these adapters and see if I can find the one that fits the best. Okay, so I found one here, and there's no size indicate. Yeah, there is 1.25 inch, and that fits really well on here. So what we do with this now is it goes in to this, put it in there like that, and then you twist it to lock it into place, and this is, then you reverse it to take out the old one, and then go forward on to tighten the new one. So now we're going to jump down there, get the old one out, and put the new one in. Alright, so I'm going to install this different than how it came off, just because I'm not so sure that it was on correctly, because it was on this way, which makes no sense at all when that lines up with the hole. So we'll go ahead and get this one started. Okay, and it caught those grooves. So now I'm just going to go ahead and tighten it up. So I'll slide our adapter over. Put the tube on. And then I'll put some breaker bar on there. I'll tighten it up. Okay. And then I think I might just tap one side down. If I can get my hammer in there. Alright. So now we can put the boot back on. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to try and recrimp those that using a pair of side cuts. So I'm not going to squeeze like I'm trying to cut it. I'm just going to try and get in. Okay, I think I'm happy with that. Alright, and so now we gotta put the new stop nut back on. Sorry, I didn't zoom you back out. Okay, so how many turns was it? Okay, here we go. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay. So now we can get the ball joint, or the, I'm sorry, have I been calling, I hope I've been calling this the ball joint, but we'll get this outer tie rod into the spindle, and then tighten that stop nut. Alright, the rest is just putting it back together. I'll have to pull it out of the garage anyway to move it, so I'm going to take it for a drive. Well, unfortunately, it got a little too dark out to take you guys with me on the ride. Once I got the wheel back on, there was still some play. Wasn't real happy about that, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to change the outer tie rod. That should hopefully take care of it. But I'm going to drive it like this and see how it does. And I'm going to go ahead and order the outer tie rods and get those done. And I might even do the lower control arms just because the ball joint's there and I just want to get this problem taken care of. But it seemed like the movement was side to side, not top to bottom, which would indicate a ball joint. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and order those, and then I'll show you the outer tie rod once I get that on how to change them out. Anyway, thanks for watching.